Welcome to PMPA's Final Cut of the Week, where we share important information you may have missed while you were making essential parts. I'm Kate Smith.
And I'm Joe Jackson, and this is what you need to know for the week ending November 18th, 2022. According to a preliminary report from the University of Michigan, consumer sentiment fell 8.7% below October, erasing about half of the gains that had been recorded since the historic low in June. All components of the index declined from last month, but buying conditions for durables, which had markedly improved last month, decreased most sharply in November, falling back 21% on the basis of high interest rates as well as continued high prices. Year over year, the index has declined 18.8%.
According to the New York Fed Manufacturing Survey, business activity edged slightly higher in New York State. The headline General Business Conditions Index climbed 14 points to 4.5. New orders decreased slightly, while shipments expanded modestly. Delivery times were little changed, and inventories grew significantly. Labor market indicators pointed to a solid increase in employment and a longer average work week. Input prices increased at about the same pace as last month, while selling price increase picked up. Looking ahead, firms expect business conditions to worsen over the next 6 months.
Much of our product is delivered and shipped via trucks, and trucking conditions affect our costs and job quotes. According to FTR, Transportation Intelligence's Trucking Conditions Index, negative conditions continue. The negative conditions are mostly due to the cost of capital, which increased with the recent Federal Reserve rate hikes. The increased cost of capital was offset by the drop in diesel costs, lower freight rates, and stronger freight demand and capacity utilization. FTR predicts the trucking market conditions to remain negative for quarter one of 2023, but only mildly.
PMPA's Speaking of Precision podcast, which was released on Monday, interviews Dave Seabrook from Micron Manufacturing. Our Speaking of Suppliers podcast interviews John Joseph from Datanomics as they discuss real-time factory data for production intelligence in our precision machine shops. Our podcast can be found on major podcast platforms or on PMPA.org.
Now it's time for our weekly tip. There is a difference between accuracy and precision. Accuracy is how close a measurement by the gauge comes to the true value of the quantity being measured. Precision is the closeness of approach of each of the measurements to the average of all the measurements. Or as PMPA's Miles Free puts it, accuracy is kissing that good-looking gal or guy next to you. Precision is when it happens to be your spouse. For a helpful visual and more gauging terms, go to PMPA.org's Knowledge Centers or Final Cut of the Week.
And that's our take on what you need to know for the week ending November 18, 2022. For more information and links about any of the topics discussed today, please go to PMPA.org and click on Final Cut of the Week.
Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next Friday.